1386. Yes, you heard that correct. 1386. So I get online sometimes and try to watch YouTube videos of like events that have happened in the world because I still can't even, I took history class and I don't even know what 1386 looks like.
That's a long time ago.
It's hard. But anyways, at this time, the human race did not know much really about anything. Now, I'm not saying we are all knowing creatures now. Obviously, we aren't. But we've definitely come farther than we were in the 1300s, right? So the time is 1386, and humans had been struggling with the study of animals and just how intelligent animals were. According to Laurel Braitman with Dig.com, the distinction between humans and other animal species was particularly blurry. It was a popular belief at this time that animals and other things besides humans were also rational beings and even able to tell the difference between right and wrong. So essentially in the 1300s, humans believed that animals were as smart as humans.
Okay.
So they had feelings, they knew the difference between right and wrong, all that kind of stuff. They might not talk, but they had their own language. Humans thought that they were sharing the planet with species who thought as complex as the human brain did. This being said, animals way back at this time were held to the same standard as humans in some places on Earth, which means if they broke the law, they were punished and able to stand trial just as a human because they should know better, according to other humans.
Weird.
Extremely weird. I had no idea this was a thing. And then I was Googling it and it's insane. Like just history lesson after history lesson after history lesson about this. So one of the first documented animal trials was that of a French pig who was tried and publicly executed for murder in 1386.
What?
So this pig killed a little boy. And back in this time, like pigs just wandered around freely, but like farmers owned them, but they wandered around. And pigs are aggressive sometimes, and they killed a little boy. And so they took the pig to trial, like literally had everyone there. They had testimony, they had everything, and then decided that the pig knew better and shouldn't have killed the little boy. And so then they publicly executed the pig in front of everyone in like in their little square.
I think it's just so strange that they didn't just kill the pig, but they put it on trial. You know?
Yeah. Well, because they think that the pig knows better. They think the pig is just as smart as humans. Other animals at this time were convicted of having sexual relations with men, which just think about that for a minute and what that actually means. They put an animal on trial for having a sexual relation with a human.
Yeah.
As if the animal knew better than the human. Animals sentenced to death for laying their eggs in inappropriate places, and rodents who stole food were guilty and put on trial.
It's like a movie.
In 1647, a man named Thomas was almost hanged when a pig had piglets and the piglets is better with humans than any other creature.
I'm trying to think, but I don't know if I have any idea.
Take a guess.
I would say, I was going to say
really
dogs,
good at riddles.
but I think I was going to say like a monkey or a gorilla.
Are layers or lizards. It's not like they really have a lot to look for besides maybe footprints, but they eventually bring.
The Knot is where you'll find vendors for every wedding. Floral to fawn over, cakes you almost don't want to cut. Oh, it looks so good. DJs to drop it to. Venues worthy of your grid. Photographers that make every hour golden hour. Really, vendors for any vibe. With the help of fresh reviews and a few useful filters, you can find your vendors faster than you can say, I do. The Knot Vendor Marketplace. Find vendors for every wedding at theknot.com/audio.
Introducing Batiste sweat-activated and touch-activated dry shampoo. With breakthrough technology that absorbs oil and releases bursts of fragrance whenever you sweat or touch your hair for up to 24 hours, it's the ultimate hair care for girls on the go. Try the newest dry shampoo that's activated by you. Batiste, the future of hair care is here. Buy Batiste dry shampoo online or in store at your nearest retailer.
Hey everybody, welcome back to our podcast. This is Murder with My Husband. I'm Peyton Moreland.
And I'm Garrett Moreland.
And he's the husband.
And I'm the husband.
Oh my gosh, we are completely amazed about everyone who participated in our giveaway last week. It was literally insane. Like, I was flagging every single DM I got. It was just crazy. So thank you to everyone who participated. We actually
this weekend bad because the other
one's property close to each a promise and the two in addition. And so this is what it looked like to him. Family and their own life. And senior, I would say 10 seconds for this week's episode.
Well, Peyton and I went snowboarding this weekend, and it was Peyton's first time.
And it was horrible. Just kidding. It was actually really good. I did just fall kind of a lot, but it was
she did really good. You really did good.
I actually only fell hard really once off the little ski lift thing, and it was really embarrassing.
Yeah, I felt bad because the other times I was holding her as she was getting off, and the one time I didn't, she went boom. Just yeah, you can imagine.
But it was really fun.
Yep,
that was a good 10 seconds.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get into today's murder. It is really complex, and it has a lot of characters involved. And I know sometimes people get lost in this. So I would highly suggest visiting one of our social media channels to view the image with all of the names written out so you don't get lost during the story. It will be like a tree of how everyone's connected, and kind of like our pizza bomber case. It's just a lot easier once you've actually seen the image to then follow along with us. So I would suggest doing that as we get into the story. Our case sources for this story are the Piketon Family Murders on Amazon Prime. It's like a documentary. And then actually a podcast called The Piketon Massacre, which is made by the same people who made the documentary. And I don't typically use other podcasts as sources just to kind of, stay away, let everyone be original, let everyone have their content. But because these were made by the same people, I figured that the details would be fairly similar. So that's why I used it. It's 7:53 a.m. on Friday, April 22nd, 2016, when Bobby Jo Manley discovers the body of her brother-in-law, Chris Roden Sr., and his cousin, Gary Roden, shot to death in one of the several mobile homes owned by the Roden family on this piece of property. Essentially, we are in a town, Piketon, where the whole Roden family, cousins, in-laws, all live in the same community. And this isn't very uncommon for the area. Generations of other families have also stayed there, stayed close to each other in a way where once you leave home, you don't actually go on and create your own life. You just stay around, you see family every day, and that's your life.
Is it just because it's a small town?
Yes. The roots run deep here. It doesn't really matter if you have a promising future there or not. You stay there and that's where you live your life. So the whole entire Roden family basically lives in Piketon. It's a small, sleepy town in Ohio with a population around the time of only 2,100 people.
Wow.
And this is in 2016. So it's not like we're clear back then, The girl who just found her ex-brother-in-law, Chris Roden, and his cousin, after letting herself into their trailer home with a key and finding them, runs to an adjacent trailer home on the Roden property with more family members in it. So like I said, it's not only that they all live in the town, it's that they all live within miles of each other.
Yeah.
So she runs across to another family member's house for help. She knocks, but is shocked when the little boy of the family answers the door. He is completely covered in blood, and he tells Bobby Jo that his daddy is in the other room playing zombie. He had been watching The Walking Dead with his family at the time, and so this is what it looked like to him. She storms into the home and is completely taken aback when she discovers that Frankie Roden, his dad, and his fiancée Hannah Gilley had also been shot dead in the mobile home as well.
Okay, so wait a second. I'm just trying to clarify all the family members because I don't want it to get too confusing.
No, totally. So don't get lost. Not everyone is blood related.
Okay.
So this is going to be extended family members. So Bobby Jo goes to a trailer actually to let some dogs out of the trailer. She goes in and finds her brother-in-law, Chris Roden, and his cousin, Gary, dead. So she doesn't really know Gary. I mean, she does, but it's not like they're blood related or anything. She's not even blood related to Chris.
Yes. So then
she then runs, to
the trailer, the next door, whatever you want to call it,
who contains a Frankie, who is Chris Roden, the dead guy in the first trailer's son.
Okay.
Chris Roden and Frankie Roden. Frankie Roden is in the trailer with his fiance, Hannah Gilly, and they are both dead. So anyway, so she goes to this trailer. Frankie and his fiance are in the trailer dead, and the little boy says that his dad's playing zombies. The horrible part about this is that Hannah's 6-month-old baby was alive, also in the trailer with her brother, and in bed with her dead parents. Horrified, Bobby Joe calls police. While waiting for the police to arrive, Bobby Joe calls her brother, James Manley, for help, and they're all just family friends. He heads to another Roden property in town, only to discover that Dana and Hannah Roden, the occupants of the trailer, are also dead. And Dana is Chris, his wife, and Hannah is her daughter. This means that 6 members of the Roden family had been violently murdered on April 22nd, 2016, in 3 separate mobile homes in Piketon. Mom and dad are Chris and Dana Roden, who were not in the same trailer, keep in mind. Their children, Frankie and Hannah Roden, Frankie's fiance, Hannah Gilly, so there's 2 Hannahs, the fiance, and then the daughter, Hannah, and Gary Roden, their cousin. All the victims were adults.
Okay.
This is huge for this small town and completely devastating. Multiple scenes with multiple bodies and one family is not common in this small town. So it's like this extended family, but really it's this one immediate family. The mom and dad, the kids, and then like his wife and his cousin. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. With all the commotion of that morning, slowly people start realizing that there were members of the slaughtered Roden family that were not found in any of the homes, and no one had heard from them. So once they draw connections that this was kind of from this immediate family, they start going, okay, well, where is everyone from this immediate family? 16-year-old Chris Roden Jr. and his uncle Kenneth Roden were missing. It's not long before police discover Chris Jr.'s body at his home. His fate just like that the rest of his family. And 7 hours later, another call comes into the Piketon County Police Station from who appears to be Kenneth Roden's cousin, stating that after seeing all of the stuff on the news about the Roden family, he decided to check in on Kenneth at his home, and he had also been shot. This crime scene was different, though. Kenneth's body was surrounded in dollar bills. So 8 members of the Roden family are all now murdered in the middle of the night at separate locations in a town of 2,100 people. So someone literally massacred this whole family, going to house to house to house to house to do it in one night.
So are they all living in the same trailer park?
No, so like a couple of the trailers are close, and then you drive a couple miles and there's a couple more trailers, and then you drive a couple miles and there's a couple more. It's all along the same road.
And they're all trailers? None of them are
they're all mobile
like
homes.
Single family homes?
No, all mobile homes.
Okay.
Now you have to imagine what this is like for this small town. Could one person have done this? Probably not. Which then means that there are multiple people in this town who are capable of this. The panic and fear sets in. It comes out that none of the little children in the family had been hurt. None of them killed, all left alive, all asleep, while their family was getting slaughtered in other rooms. So all the adults and the 16-year-old get slaughtered, but any of the ones who had kids or anything, all of the kids stayed alive.
16's still pretty young, though.
Still young.
Yeah.
Hannah Roden, the adult daughter, had just had a baby 4 days before the murder. And when they found Hannah's body with her mom, Dana, and the 4-day-old baby was alive in the bed as well with the 2 adults.
That's kind of weird.
Very weird.
Yeah.
So 40-year-old Chris Sr., he's the dad. He had worked construction jobs, but when work was slow, he would buy cars and flip them. So all of these properties are those properties where the cars outnumbered everything else. Like there's 7 cars on the property. Does that make sense? Because they were constantly flipping them. Dana, his wife, was a 37-year-old nurse. After 13 years of marriage, they decided to separate, but stay close for their kids. Chris moved into a home with his cousin, 38-year-old Gary, who they were found dead together, and ended up buying a mobile home for his ex-wife to stick around in. So they were like, we're going to get divorced, but we're all about family. So he's like, I'm going to buy you a mobile home and you go live over there. And she, Dana, his wife, was found with their daughter, Hannah, and the 4-day-old baby.
Holy moly, there's too many family members. I'm trying to keep organized, but it's getting crazy.
And these are all just the same people we've been talking about. I'm just giving you a little bit of background on them. So just down the road from them lived Chris's brother, Kenneth Roden, who was the 44-year-old found with the dollar bills around him. And all three of them were close and would do anything for anybody at any time. Like, they were just really nice guys, is what everyone says. Their oldest child, Frankie, who was 20, loved being outdoors. He was also found dead with his fiancée, Hannah. He loved to hunt, and people say that the girls loved him in high school. He, too, loved cars and wanted to be in the local demolition derby. Like, that was a goal of his.
You know what, like, I instantly thought of?
What?
Footloose.
Oh, yeah.
When, like, they're in the demolition, or they're in the driving the cars around.
Totally.
That's funny.
So Hannah Roden, their 19-year-old daughter, was an amazing mom, and luckily, the night of the murders, her 2-year-old baby was with her father, Jake Wagner. So she had her 4-day-old baby in bed with her, but her 2-year-old was with her father, Jake.
Okay.
Although not married, Jake Wagner and Hannah Roden, Jake was considered a part of the Roden family, but his whole family also lived in Piketon, just like this family, like extended family, everything. Their daughter would spend time at each family. 16-year-old Chris was the baby of the family, and Hannah Gilly, Frankie's fiance, was a 20-year-old and also a mother.
I'm really surprised that they were able to kill whoever did this. I know we're going to get into it, but that they were able to kill all these members without anything going wrong, right? Without anyone screaming or anyone getting tackled or whatever it may be.
You and everybody else.
Okay.
How did this person or people hit 4 locations, kill 8 family members, and nobody knew a thing?
Especially
in
because
small town.
We haven't gotten into it, but I assume it was probably with a gun.
Yes.
And so, how did no one hear?
Literally, this town is freaking out.
Okay.
Did you know socks, tees, and underwear are the 3 most requested clothing items in homeless shelters? Bombas knows, and they're doing something about it, making ridiculously comfortable versions of all 3 and donating one for every item sold. With all the clothing brands out there, it's nice to find some basics that don't just feel good, but actually do good in the world too.
One purchase equals one donated commitment has helped customers donate over 100 million essential clothing items to people facing homelessness. Once you try Bombas, you'll know why so many people have purchased and donated so many. Bombas also has a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you got the wrong size, your dog chews up your socks, or a pair vanishes in the washing machine, it's easy to get a free return exchange or replacement.
You guys, and I'm just going to be honest, I love my Bombas items. I wear their underwear. I wear their socks. They're my favorite socks I have. I also have worn their slippers. So I'm a big fan of Bombas. They have the cutest length socks that I can't find anywhere else. And so it's also nice to know that, you know, when I'm buying a pair, it's also getting donated somewhere. So ready to get comfy and give back, head over to bombas.com/husband and use code husband for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/husband and use code husband at checkout.
Did you know that according to FBI property crime data, most home break-ins happen in broad daylight? As the days get longer this spring, protect your home with Simply Safe. It's the award-winning home security we use and recommend. Don't even try to come into our house. We will watch you break in.
It's not just our house, it's where we work too. We have everything protected, and it's nice to know that 24/7 something is watching your home.
It was named Best Home Security Systems of 2024. Also, its advanced technology protects every room, window, and door of your home, while indoor and outdoor cameras keep watch for suspicious activity 24/7.
And again, the whole system is backed by 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. Simply Safe is always innovating too, with 24/7 live guard protection and the smart alarm indoor camera. Their monitoring agents can actually talk to intruders in real time to scare them off.
You can install it your way, or you can also get a professional to help you do it. Protect your home today. Our listeners get a special 20% off any new Simply Safe system when you sign up for Fast Protect monitoring.
Just visit simplysafe.com/husband. You guys, if your home is just sitting there, you need to do something about it. Visit simplysafe.com.
We love it. And all the way to other leading commerce.
Husband. Police discover that most So due to the extent of the murders, 8 family members, 4 locations, 1 night, the Piketon Police Department immediately call in for backup and help. They're like, there's no way we're solving this. So police discover that most of the victims were shot multiple times. So not only were they just like shot once, like you were saying, they were shot multiple times. Chris Sr., the dad, having been shot 9 times.
What?
And he was the only victim to also have been beaten. So the rest of the victims were shot, and I'm going to say this, they were not beaten because they were shot in their sleep. Chris was awake during his attack, so he was also beaten.
Do you know what kind of gun he used?
No.
Oh.
So it felt like a lot of hatred, evidently, during his murder, 9 shots. He had defensive wounds on his forearms, and his body had also been moved and then positioned, but we don't know into what position. So I'm just going to preface this now. There is not a lot of information released on the details of this case, which is why I don't know what gun it was.
Okay.
I just know it was a gun. Gary, his cousin, who was in the same home with Chris Sr., had a muzzle burn against his head, which means he was shot point blank, gun touching his head in his bed asleep, which is like,
what the heck?
Kind of intense.
Yeah.
Like if you think about it, they touched the gun to his head while he was asleep and shot him, which is just a little bit different. I don't know. It feels different to me than just like shooting someone from a couple feet away.
I'm just still, guns are loud. They're not something that's not a quiet thing. Guns are loud. So how did nobody hear this?
Mm-hmm. Many theories are investigated for why this whole family was slaughtered. Possible like cockfights on the property. They had a couple cages, and so people were like, maybe there was like a feud over one of these. Maybe feuds in the demolition derbies that they were trying to get involved in. Even all the way to a road rage incident that Chris Jr., the son, had gotten in. The 16-year-old had gotten in a couple weeks earlier. Police got involved. But none of these really turn out for the multiple departments investigating this crime. The Attorney General comes forward a couple days later and tells the public that the Roden family was growing marijuana on their property, and like a lot of it not for personal use. And this is really like the only main detail that police kind of give, and it's only a couple days after the murders. And so I kind of find this weird that they were just willing to give this evidence out but haven't really released anything else. So they immediately assume that maybe these deaths have something to do with the cartel or a drug deal gone bad or something. It makes the most sense with multiple houses, multiple hits, and a clean get out. How did nobody hear? How come nobody knew what was going on? This is weird because the Roden family gave no hints that they were making huge money off drugs. They drove average cars. They lived in average trailers. It didn't seem like they were rolling in it.
Okay.